Now, processing a signal. Now, this processing a signal, I think I will explain to you more with a what you see here. So, this is a part of a one cell, okay, one eukaryotic cell, and this is your target cell. Okay. Your source cell may be somewhere here, and that is the soluble signal, and this signal molecules which is red here. So, this signal molecules it is coming to the target cell. Source to target cell it is coming by molecular diffusion, means what kind of signaling it is? It is called paracrine signals. Clear? Autocrine means same cell, paracrine means through extracellular matrix, and endocrine means through bloodstream, right? Auto, para, endo. Now, this is a paracrine signal, it comes. Now, it is actually being attached to the receptor protein. So, these receptor proteins means the proteins which are exposed to the extracellular space while being attached to your plasma membrane, that is your cell plasma membrane. Okay. So, this is your receptor protein. Now, once this is activated, now that what will happen? This will activate. So, enter this one is known as the signal transduction mechanism. So, signal transduction mechanism means once the receptor proteins are activated in the target cell, what will happen? They will activate a few other intracellular signaling proteins, and these few other intracellular signaling proteins, if you see here, these proteins they are identified or they are designated as different symbols, like one is square, one is triangle, one is circular. That means different shape means they are essentially different type of proteins. Okay. Now, these different intracellular signaling proteins they are being activated. Now, their net result is that they can ultimately act on the target protein, and these target proteins can essentially modify the metabolic activity of the proteins. Metabolic activity means simply lot of protein molecules will be synthesized at the ribosome. Gene regulatory protein. Gene regulatory protein means that it will activate the DNA and RNA in the cell, and that will lead to the more cell division process. Cytoskeletal protein means your cytoskeleton is an actin filament is there. So, it will help in the depolymerization and repolymerization actin filament, so that cells can migrate or cells can crawl over the substrate. So, what I am trying to say here, that one extracellular signal molecule, once it activates that intracellular signaling proteins, it can have a large number of activities. It can enhance the protein synthesis process, it can enhance the gene regulatory protein, and it can enhance the cytoskeleton protein. So, now if I go back to the slides, this is what has been mentioned here, processing a signal, then all these points should be very clear to you. The point number 1 is that the binding of the growth factor to its receptor triggers a complex signal transduction process. Now, this has been mentioned in a very simple manner, but I will show it later that how complex this signal transduction mechanism can happen. Second one, the process involves a coordinated and interconnected process of signal detection, transmission, and amplification. Now, what is called detection? That means the cells are detecting a particular signal. It is just like your mobile. Your mobile, if you are in the far off place, it cannot detect a signal. So, therefore, you cannot communicate to another person. So, simply you can understand that a cell is trying to send signals to another cell, the target cell is not able to detect that signals. Okay. Transmission means that how the signal is going internalized in the cell, that is transmission. Amplification means what? Amplification means suppose your target cell signal molecule concentration is very low, then you are activating some intracellular signaling complex which will amplify, that means which will actually increase the concentration of these signal molecules which are coming inside. Okay. So, these amplification proteins, this amplification is also important. Now, once the signal is transduced, it triggers a particular biochemical response as well as gene expression. So, that means this signal transduction actually triggers a particular biochemical response as well as gene expression, and typically binding of a growth factor to its receptor complex elicits changes such that its intracellular components can catalytic activities. Now, those things I will explain to you in a small time. Now, this particular slide actually shows you how complex can be what I am writing here, complexity in signal transduction mechanism. So, this is that complexity in the signal transduction mechanism means like you have this extracellular signal molecules which is red balls here. It will come and interact with your receptor protein from your target cell. This is your target cell. Okay. So, this is your all the place is your target cell. Now, once this signal comes, then that will in turn actually activate a large number of protein molecules in the path, and these protein molecules, they are like part of a one large scaffold protein. So, like they are called relay protein. Relay protein means you remember the relay race, right, on the ground. That means you transfer your button to your friend who will run, again transfer the button to another person who will run further. So, like relay race, here also inside the cells different protein molecules can act as a relay proteins, like they will simply transfer the signals or communication to another proteins, and then there is adapter protein. Adapter protein means these proteins which will adapt. Then comes your bifurcation protein. The way these proteins are named, actually you can understand what is the function that these proteins play a role. Bifurcation protein means whatever signal molecules that are generated here, it simply bifurcates to 2 or 3 bifurcation protein. Then it comes to the amplifier and transducer protein. As I said earlier, amplification means it increases the concentration of the signaling molecules. So, as you see that amplification proteins, from that there are 5, 6, 7 small intracellular mediators that are generated. All these intracellular mediators, they can again come with the help of integrator protein. Integrator protein means the protein which will integrate all the signals from 6, 7 extracellular mediator. They will come and then they will anchor the protein, and there is a modulator protein. Then finally, the messenger protein will go inside and that will change the gene expression level. So, this type of things can take place in few minutes, like 15 to 30 minutes. If this has to change in the cytoplasm, but if it goes inside, then it takes a 1 to 2 hours. You understand what I am saying? What I am saying is that this entire cascade, in biological language it is called cascade, signaling cascade. This entire cascade take place if it is to change in the metabolic activity of the cells or cytoplasmic activity of the cytoplasm, then it takes 15 to 30 minutes. But if it has to change the gene expression, then it takes 1 to 2 hours. Okay. And this entire slide essentially shows you that how complex this cell signaling process can be in general. So, this is that another factor of the intracellular signaling complexes. Now, these intracellular signaling processes essentially act like a molecular switches. So, let me first tell you that what is molecular switches. Why it is called molecular switches? Because this is essentially mediated by protein molecules or growth factors which are biological molecules. So, that is why it is called molecular. Switches means what? It is like electrical switches. You switch on, that means lights will be on. In switch off, that means lights will be off. So, similarly, you switch on the fan and switch off the fan. So, what it shows here, once the signal in, that means once the signal comes in, then there is a particular process that activates, like phosphatase is added covalently to a signal protein to a protein kinase, and signaling protein is induced to exchange is bound to GDP to GTP. So, signaling by the GTP binding protein and signaling by phosphorylation. So, this is just examples. So, what you have to understand here, that unless it receives the signal, this APP P to APP, that reaction cannot take place. So, this is on, and once this is off, that means it goes back to its original position. Now, when it is off, when the signal will get out of the cell. Okay. So, that time this reaction cannot take place. So, similar molecular switches activity that has been mentioned here you see. So, this is your large scaffold protein. Large scaffold protein, you can consider the scaffold protein is that like a base or like a large structure of the protein molecule, where the smaller intracellular signaling molecules like 1, 2, 3 can be attached to that. Okay. This is the smaller signaling molecules. Now, this is your inactive receptor. Once the signal molecule comes, then this is becomes activated. Activated means now switch is on. Okay. Now, once the switch is on, then it will also activate the scaffold proteins, and as a result this 1, 2, 3, these 3 protein molecules they become activated, and subsequently these downstream signals also will be activated. So, this is called intercellular signaling complexes. Now, B is that assembly of signaling complex following receptor activation, that is you have an inactive receptor, your signal molecule comes here, this is your 1, 2, 3, these are 3 different signaling proteins. Now, here you can see that these signaling proteins are activated here because of the molecular switches, and again large number of intercellular signaling pathways can be generated. This is what I have already mentioned to you earlier, that you have the extracellular signal molecules, protein receptors and so on, and then this is like intercellular signaling protein receptor protein combination behave more like a molecular switches, and cellular response like proliferation and growth that can be stimulated by specific combinations of extracellular signals rather than by single signal acting alone. Okay. Now, what are the different ion channel linked cell surface receptors? Now, this is your plasma membrane, this is your cell cytoplasm here. So, in the plasma membrane, that all the openings that gates, this is like gates, like the typical house, your gates are closed, that means nobody can enter. Once the gates are open, people can enter. Similar situation you can imagine on the cell surface plasma membrane also. When gates are closed, then small signal molecules here which appear as blue, they cannot simply enter the cell surface. Okay. Once gates are open, then it can comes and then it can goes inside. But for that, what is the primary criteria? That ion should be of smaller in size, so that it can enter into the through the gate of the plasma membrane. So, this is like different things that has been mentioned here, like enzyme linked receptor with intrinsic enzyme activity and associated enzyme. What it means here, that this is signal molecule, it comes, it will be activating that cell surface receptor. B is that it will be activated and then activated enzyme will take place, will carry out the further action. Coming to the integrated response of various signals, now detection, transmission and amplification of signals are interconnected, and that allows the precise control of the cell fate processes. What it means by integrated response? Integrated response means, so integrated response means, for example, for any type of processes, whether cell wants to survive or cell wants to undergo cell division or cell wants to differentiate or cell will die. For all these cell fate processes which are part of the tissue homeostasis, now one has to understand that each of these performance or each of these function requires not one signals, but multiple signals. That A, B, C means what? A, B, C means that your source signal, source cell here are receiving at any point of time A, B, C 3 different signals. Now, 3 different signals in combination that will be integrated, and that will be able to that will tell the cell to survive. That means, its normal protein synthesis process, or in your mitochondria all this energy that is produced in a surviving live cell, that will be on, that process will be on. So, when you see that in a culture medium a cell is live or a cell is surviving, you have to understand that that particular cell is at any point of time getting a number of signal molecules from external source. External source means extracellular matrix. If at any point of time the cell is not getting any signal A, B, C, then what will happen? Cells will die. That means, cells cannot survive, and cell death essentially means that can be actually useful for that can take place either via necrosis or via apoptosis process. Like, second thing is that if a cell is now surviving in a medium or in a particular substrate, Now, if a cell wants to divide, then ABC signal is not sufficient. You require some other signals which has been designated here DE. Now, these two signals essentially will allow the cells to undergo cytokinosis and mitosis process, that is the cell growth process. Third one is that now you have the ABC signal and then you have the F and G, this is like different other signals. Now, ABC and FG, that will help the cells to differentiate. Differentiation means different gene expression or different cell function. Okay. So, this actually requires you need to have more signals. So, cell differentiation process essentially is the result of the integration of A, B, C and F, G signals. Cell division is the result of the integration of the rest of the different signal molecules like A, B, C and D, E. Cell survival is the process of the integration of the A, B, C, 3 different cell signals. You understand? So, therefore, I repeat, this is called integrated response. Integrated response means any activity, any cellular activity, be it survival, be it division, be it differentiation, requires the action of the multiple signals. And if there is proper integration take place inside the signal, inside the target cell, then what will happen? Then this is your target cell here. So, then certain activity will be promoted, be it cell survival, be it differentiation, etc. The cell signaling process, some people actually describe it as like a computer programming process. Now, take the example of any programming, let us say whether it is Fortran, C, C++, etc. Then what you require? You have to give some input to the programming. Now, there is a programming unit, that is the computer language like software, and then it will give some output. So, the output depends on the programming unit as well as the input. So, similarly, in the cell signaling language, what you have, your input is ABC signal. Your programming unit here is that cell signaling mechanism or pathways which is activated here, which are integrating the response of 3 different cell signal molecule, and your output is what? Your output is whether it changes the gene expression or it changes the various other activities. Let us go back here. So, let me explain to you more clearly that what is meant by input, output and so on. So, here input is your extracellular signal molecule here, input. What is your programming unit here? This is your programming unit, like how these signaling cascades are taking place. What is your output? Output is here, this one is your output. Output is here, what is the net result of that? Whether it is changing the gene expression, whether it is changing the protein synthesis rate, whether it is changing the cytoskeleton protein, etc., etc. Okay. So, these 3 is the output, your internal, this one is your transduction mechanism, is your programming language, and your input is the extracellular signaling molecules. So, now I hope that you understand that that what is the meaning of this input, programming unit, output. So, all these details things are actually not at this stage is important. A signal, the other things that you have to remember is that a signal transduction network is represented as a components of a complex interconnected circuit. Complex interconnected circuit means in electrical engineering language, when you know that there is a resistance, capacitor, assembly and so on, and if the in the circuit is very complicated, like there are multiple of resistors, multiple of capacitors, you can understand that similar thing also takes place in the case of the signaling also, like how this signaling takes place, it is more working like a complex interconnected network. Like some few slides are left, actually these are like mostly about the signaling interaction. So, signaling interaction means like there are 2 type of signal molecules here, A and B. Earlier I have shown you that a cell has to survive, that means cell has to get A, B, C 3 different signals, right. So, what happens that A signal molecule act differently like ATP to ADP. ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, ADP stands for adenosine diphosphate. Now, ATP to ADP, there is a transformation here, transition here. Now, similarly, B signal molecule it comes and then it also gets attached to another cell surface receptor. These receptors they act more like a the tongs or these scissors like thing, like that will come and then simply come and sit here, this signal molecule, and then it will be activating that downstream signals here. Now, whatever signal is transmitted through A or through B, they can be integrated and they can be act as a more like a downstream signals. Similarly, here if you see that signaling interaction, here again ATP to ADP and ATP to ADP transformation, but here what will happen is that this signal molecule interaction A to B that is taking place via some intermediate protein molecules here A and B, and they will come together, then they will cause the downstream signals. So, that means the signaling pathway means how this individual signal molecule will cause the signal transduction process inside the signals. So, this is the pathway number 1, this is the pathway number 2. So, integration means it can be either 1 plus 2 or it can be more than that. So, that means the net result will be much more stronger than what you get individual signal. Okay. For example, suppose there is only one signal is there A, and if you have 2 or 3 multiples in that, what will happen? A will actually transduce some signaling pathways here, B will transduce some signaling pathways here, C will also transduce some signaling pathways here. It may so happen that inside a cell these ABC3 pathways they will come and they will integrate together, and therefore, your action will be much stronger compared to the action of the only one type of signal, that is signal A molecule. Okay. So, this is what actually is about the integration of the signal molecules. Now, coming to the binding of the extracellular signal molecules, like which will come by the soluble proteins. So, this is your hydrophilic signal molecule. Now, hydrophilic signal molecule that will come, that will get attached to the cell surface receptors, and this is your plasma membrane. And there is the intracellular receptors like the carrier protein, and then it is come and then it goes to the nucleus. Okay. Now, binding of the extracellular signal molecules means what? Most signal molecules which are hydrophilic and they were unable to cross the plasma membrane directly. But if it is hydrophobic and small molecules, then they can go inside the cells very easily. So, remember one thing, if your signal molecule is hydrophilic, then they cannot simply get inside, but they will activate the cell surface receptor. But if your signal molecule is hydrophobic, then that will go inside the cells and they will activate the cell cytoplasm. Then the bind to cell surface receptors which in turn actually generate one or more signals inside the target cell. Now, some small molecules diffuse across the plasma membrane and bind to receptors inside the target cell either in cytocell or nucleus. Suppose there is a carrier protein and there is a small signal molecule here. Now, this signal molecule will not attach to the cell surface receptor on the surface just because the signal molecules can get squeezed into the cytoplasm, and these signal molecules actually will go inside and that will get attached to a cell surface receptor, or that will get attached to a receptors inside the cytoplasm. So, in this lecture we will be discussing the process of cell signaling and how it is relevant for the communication between two cells. So, overall this particular cell signaling process and cell communication is very important as far as the different cell fate processes are concerned. For example, cell migration, cell differentiation, cell division, cell proliferation. So, all these cell fate process, one of the essential step is the cell signaling. So, if the cell signaling does not take place in a very appropriate manner, many of these cell fate processes cannot take place in or in vivo conditions. So, in this perspective, that overall structure of this presentation will include, first I will go through some of the overview of the cell signaling processes, that will be followed by the various types of signaling. Then I will come to the different mechanisms of signaling. So, these mechanisms means like how these signaling processes takes place, how these signals are generated from the source cell and it is communicated to the target cell, what are the mechanism. Then fourth aspect is the quantifying various aspects of cell signaling. That means that the student should have an idea about that what is the time scale or what is the typical concentration over which a signal can be very effective and what is the that concentration should be maintained. Then fifth one is that I will give you some example for the cell ECM interaction and another and different other cell signaling pathways. So, this is the overview of what I was just discussing 2 minutes ago, that is the tissue functions and underlying cell fate processes. Now, coming to the tissue dynamics like tissue function like homeostasis, like as I will discuss later that that all these cell survival, cell differentiation and cell motility, all these things are essential components of the homeostasis process. The second one is the tissue repair, that is the wound healing process. Third one is tissue formation like morphogenesis and developmental biology. Now, just few minutes back I mentioned that these are the cell fate processes like this is the cell fate process like cell replication, that means cell division, cell differentiation like different gene expression or different cell functionality, cell death processes like necrosis or apoptosis, cell motion like cell motility and cell adhesion. So, all these processes cannot take place unless a given cell will receive signals from another cell. So, that is what is mentioned, that cells communicate and coordinate their efforts to the processes. So, all these cell communication processes outcome is that cell fate processes. So, this is a typical eukaryotic cells like nucleated cells, and you can see that this process 2 means that these particular cells can be going to another state, that is the differentiated state. Then cell replication means these cells will increase in number. Cell adhesion means that it is an biomaterial substrate and on which there is protein adsorption as mentioned before, and this protein adsorption is important for the cell adhesion process. Cell motility means like a child walks on the ground, similarly how the cells will walk on the substrate or a given biomaterial substrate. So, like that cell motion. And how these cells maybe I have mentioned earlier that cells have also filopodia or lamellopodia, like human being has legs and hands. So, similarly the cells through lamellopodia extension or filopodia extension, the cells can walk on the material substrate. And number 3 process is the cell death, like cells will no more be surviving because of the necrosis or apoptosis. Now, coordination of the cellular fate processes. So, cell communication essential to coordinate their activities and occurs, that takes place in 3 principal ways. Number 1 is the soluble signals. So, here the soluble signals means that a source cell will generate or will essentially secrete some kind of soluble signaling. They will generate some biomolecules or protein molecules or molecules, and these are known as signals. So, it can be cytokines or it can be chemokines. Cytokines are actually growth factors. Now, growth factor, this term needs definition. So, growth factors are essentially that growth factors essentially cause proliferation and differentiation. So, these are like cytokines, and chemokines means growth factors that induce cell migration. So, essentially cyto means that is essentially related to proliferation and differentiation. Chemokines means which is essentially related to the cell migration. Now, again there are 3 types of soluble signals signaling processes. Number autocrine. Autocrine means same cell signals to itself for the division, cell division processes. Like a mother cell is dividing into 2 daughter cells. So, therefore, a same cell can send the signal to itself, so that cells can divide to make 2 daughter cells. Paracrine means cells signals to neighboring cells by diffusion, and endocrine means cells secrete some growth factor into bloodstream and carried into target cell. I will show these 3 things in a few minutes. Then this is the soluble signals. The second one is that, so this is the number 1. Number 2 is the insoluble signals that alter the physical and chemical composition of microenvironments by modifications of ECM. So, and then second thing is that these cells they cause the changes to the physical and chemical composition of the microenvironments. That means, if there is a cell here, eukaryotic cells, this is nucleus and this eukaryotic cells, microenvironments means this is called ECM, that is extracellular matrix. So, these insoluble signals cause some modifications to extracellular matrix. So, this is called another type of signals. Third one is that direct cell to cell contact. So, that takes place through gap junctions. Now, what is gap junctions? I will come to that in a few minutes. Okay. So, this is that this is direct cell to cell contact, and fourth one is the response to mechanical stimuli in their microenvironment, equivalent to biochemical stimuli. So, the first three are three different principles of the communication. I repeat, that is through soluble signals, second one is the insoluble signals, third one cell to cell contact. Now, as I said that what is growth factors? So, growth factors are essentially small proteins that are on the order of 15 to 20 kilodalton. So, Kd stands for kilodalton, that means 15 to 20,000 dalton. Now, what is dalton? 1 dalton is equivalent to the weight of 1 hydrogen atom. Okay. So, therefore, growth factors are nothing but the small protein molecules which has a molecular weight of 15 to 20,000 kilodalton. Okay. So, this is the growth factors. Now, there are different type of growth factors. Since it is not a course on biology as such, I would like you to remember that at least 2 or 3 different growth factors which are important in the process of cell fate processes. Number 1 is that fibroblast growth factor, that is FGF. Number 2 is that insulin like growth factors, that is called IGF, and third one is that transforming growth factor, that is known as TGF. Now, what is the functions or biological activity of these 3 growth factors? Now, fibroblast growth factors, their essential biological activities mesodermal and about 9 in skeletal and nervous system development. So, these particular growth factor, that is the fibroblast growth factor, they essentially help in the development of skeletal and nervous system nervous systems. Insulin like growth factor IGF, that stimulates proliferation and differentiation of different growth factors. So, therefore, as you can see in the context of the cell fate processes, IGF is more important because IGF essentially stimulates, or it facilitates cell proliferation and cell differentiation. Transforming growth factor beta, that regulates cell growth and differentiation of many cell types involved in regulating extracellular matrix proteins. So, TGF cell differentiation of many cell types. So, as I said in the last lecture, last slide, that 3 types of growth factors are important. I repeat, FGF is IGF is that insulin growth factor, and TGF is transforming growth factor, and out of that IGF is the main growth factor which is important for the cell proliferation differentiation. Now, 2 or 3 slides back I mentioned that what are the different types of cell signaling process, contact dependent, that is that through gap junctions, and then 3 other type of growth factors that 3 other types of signalings that I have mentioned, that is through. So, if you remember correctly, there are 3 ways this signaling takes place. One is that soluble signals, second one is that insoluble signals, third one is direct cell to cell contact. Category of soluble signals, there are 3 different ways this signaling can take place. One is that autocrine, one is called paracrine. Autocrine means cells signals to itself. Paracrine means cells that signal and target cell, and then it is the paracrine. And endocrine means cells secrete the signal molecules that will be carried away through the blood stream, and then it will be transported to another target cell. So, that is the paracrine. Now, here you can see that is the first one is the contact dependent. So, this is your signaling cell S and this is your target cell T. So, from signaling cell, the signal molecules you can see membrane bound signal molecule, that is the red one, and this is your target cell, green one is your target cell surface receptor. So, they will come and then they will attach, they will get attached to the cell surface receptor on the target cell, and then they will cause some changes in the target cell T. So, this is like contact dependent, like two cells are in direct contact, and among various cell types, the cell type that comes to your mind where this contact dependent signaling takes place is that endothelial cells. Endothelial cells like cells which are arranged one, this is your signaling cell S. Okay. Now, there are 2, 3 or different target cell. This is 2, this is one target cell, this is another target cell, this is T1, this is T2 and this is T3. Okay. Now, these are all eukaryotic cells, as you can see. Now, they create 2 or 3 different type of signaling proteins, for example. Now, one of the signaling proteins can be transported to this T3, but via local mediator. That means, it cannot directly be transported via protein molecule directly to another targeting cell. So, this red one will get attached to the local mediator, and then so this local mediator can be transported to the target T3 cell. Similarly, different local mediators are present, as you can see, this is another local mediator and this is another local mediator. So, the signaling cell from S to the target cell T1, T2, T3, the transport of the signal molecule takes place via the local mediator, the process of the paracrine signals. And endocrine signals means this is your endocrine cell S, that is the source cell. Now, this is your target cell, this is T1 target cell, this is T2 target cell, all are eukaryotic in nature. Now, endocrine cell, this is secretes some signal, then it will go to the hormone and then through the blood stream. This is your blood vessels or blood stream, it is going on, and then it is transported to the blood stream and then it goes to 2 target cell. So, this is like T2 and T3. So, essentially all you can see here that from to T1 and T2 and then it can be transported. So, this is called endocrine signals. Okay. And then another one that has been mentioned here is that synaptic signal. Synaptic signaling is performed by neurons. So, neurons means it is actually important in neural tissue engineering or in general neurons. So, this is the transmit signals electrically along their axons and release neurotransmitters at synapses. Okay. So, here you can see these are like synapses here, okay, and these synapses there is a neurotransmitter. So, these signals as such it is transported electrically and then it is going to another target cell. This is your source cell and this is your target cell T. So, from S to T that through neurotransmitter this signals is transported. Okay. So, direct cell to cell contact, this is little bit more details on the direct cell to cell contact. Like eukaryotic cells, they express proteins on their surface that lead to direct cell to cell contact, enabling highly specific communication. Highly specific communication means, if you go back here, that signal molecules that is generated here from this S cell, these same signal molecules can be transported either T1, T2 or T3. So, it can be in nature non-specific, but when these two cells are in direct contact, you know that this signal molecule from this S cell, it will directly go to the T cell, because just because it is physically in contact with each other. So, this is called highly specific communication. Highly specific communication means this signaling communication is exactly for this T cell, target cell, not that another target cell which are located here. Okay. So, in contrast, soluble and ECM signaling is non-specific. Soluble and ECM signaling means, as you can see, this is called soluble signaling or signaling, that is paracrine and endocrine. So, these signals, the source cell does not know where their signaling proteins will finally arrive at, whether it will arrive at T2 or whether it will arrive at T1. So, that means this is like non-specific. So, I hope you are getting my point, that these are specific means just because they are contact dependent direct. So, source cell to target cell, this is called specific interaction. Non-specific interaction means like source cell, it is going to 2 target cells and this is called non-specific interaction. So, so it is non-specific since the signaling cell has no direct knowledge of the target cell and vice versa. Has no direct knowledge means signaling cell does not know which target cell their signal protein will finally arrive at. Okay. Then third point that has been mentioned here is that cell to cell signaling molecules come in two principal forms, like those that allow mechanical cells through which molecules can be passed directly from one next cell, next cell, next. So, this is what I was mentioning there, that signal. So, this is signaling via gap junction. So, this is direct contact, and this direct contact here you can see these are the signal molecules. Okay. So, these signal molecules, it can go from source to target. This is highly specific in nature. Highly specific in nature, why? Because this, if this is source and this is target, source cell exactly knows this is the target cell where the signaling molecules will directly pass through, and these junctions here it is known as the gap junctions. These gap junctions, the communication through gap junctions only take place in cell type like endothelial cells, where multiple cells are lined up one after other. So, there is a direct physical contact between the two type of cells. So, here it has been mentioned that 2 points. Point number 1 is that cells connected by gap junctions share small molecules and can respond to the extracellular signal in a coordinated manner. So, can respond to the extracellular signal in a very direct cytoplasmic communications. So, like molecules who are in direct cell to cell contact. So, this is your cytoplasm C, this is your cytoplasm C here. So, these signal molecules, if it is transported between these or in a reversible manner, can directly communicate to the cytoplasm. Now, coming to the some quantification, estimating that intercellular fluxes. Now, how to quantify that, what is the typical fluxes that will be generated in this intracellular in this signaling process. So, let me go back. So, intracellular fluxes means will be generated at the source cell surface here, and how much flux that will be generated, and that will be going to the 3 different cells which are mentioned here. Okay. So, that means what I am trying to tell you is that what would be the flux of the target, what will be the flux of the signal molecules that will be transported from one signal cell to multiple target cells. Yeah. So, now for the particular case of the cell to cell junctions, typically cell to cell junctions, their dimension is around 1.5 nanometer, and therefore, that allow below 1000 Daltons. So, most of the growth factors, if you remember, they are very small protein molecules and which has a size of 15 to 20 kilodalton, means this can be easily transported between these two cells, and these 1000 between cells. Kinetic theory shows that the flux through a hole of diameter d of a solute with a diffusion coefficient capital D that is present in the signaling cell at a concentration C1 and the receiving cell has a concentration C2. So, this flux is J is equal to 4 D, D is the diffusion coefficient here, small d is the cell to cell junction diameter, C1 is the concentration in the source cell, C2 is the concentration in the target cell. Receiving cell means this is essentially target cell, and signaling cell means this is an essentially source cell. You understand what I am saying? So, let me go back to this. Okay. So, what has been mentioned here, suppose this is source cell and this is your target cell. Here the concentration is C1, here concentration is C2. Okay. Capital D is your diffusion coefficient that how passing through, and this diameter if it is small d here. So, then the flux, that how much flux that will be transported, that has been calculated via simple fixed law is J is equal to 4 d pi over d C1 minus C2. So, always the flux will be from higher concentration to the lower concentration. So, now if you see that if you consider that d is 4 nanometer, capital D is 10 to the power 5 minus 5 centimeter square per second, like typical diffusion coefficient, C1 minus C2 is 100 micromolar. Then what would be the typical flux? This typical flux would be 2.4 into 10 to the power 5 molecules per pore per second. So, let me go back to this slide and let me explain to that. So, this small d has been assumed as, suppose this is 4 nanometer. So, if you calculate here d is equal to 4 nanometer, your capital D diffusion coefficient is 10 to the power minus 5 centimeter square per second, and your C1 minus C2 is typically like 100 micromolar. Okay. Then this flux, which is F, it is like 2.4 into 10 to the power 5.